honored guests. Welcome to CaseIT 2024 Case 2 WildCard presentations for presentation time slot 1. My name is Aaliyah, and I will be your timer today. As a reminder, the CaseIT Organizing Committee will be recording the presentations for the purpose of the competition and team assessments. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our judging panel, starting off with Gary Tandy, the Senior Manager of Commercial Transformation at TELUS International, Aaron Walker, the Product Owner of Airline Operations at WestJet, Andreas Fick, the Director of ERP at Cardium, Gary Ackerman, the Digital Transformation Lead at Legal Aid BC, and finally, Jinyu, the Assistant Team Lead at Cynic Software. It is also my pleasure to introduce to you the judging facilitator, Nilesh Saraf. We are so excited for your presentation, but before we begin, we would like to remind you of the competition guidelines. You will have 5 minutes of protected time to present your solution. At the conclusion of your presentation, there will be no Q&A. Competitors and judges will not be permitted to continue speaking. I will be using this device to time the presentations and Q&A period, lack of Q&A period. I will also provide warnings at the 3-minute, 1-minute, and 30-second mark. CaseIT's time will be the final time. Regardless, you are still responsible for keeping track of your time. Please note that competitors are not permitted to reveal any affiliation with their university, country, or city of origin during or after the presentation. Now, thank you and all the best. Competitors, feel free to join the stage and begin when you're ready. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Catalyst Consulting, we'd like to thank you for your time and being here with us today, whilst we look at charting PCA's course for success. Firstly, I'd like to introduce our team. My name is Kaylee, and to my right, we have Hudson, Alana, and Bhavya. Now, through our extensive research, we've discovered that the current strengths within PCA's informational systems lie within the pre-existing connectivity between some of your data systems. Weaknesses surround the limited synchronization between these systems, and we have also identified opportunities for refinement to ensure that we have more efficient and accurate data flow. However, we do also need to acknowledge the threats that do exist, including pre-existing connectivity between some data systems. So what is our problem? Well, operational efficiency and seamless data movement are currently being hindered due to the synchronization and automation insufficiencies amongst current PCA informational systems. Let's meet Sarah. Sarah is your typical young, enthusiastic flight attendant at PCA, and she's already experiencing some disruptions in her pay schedules and crew schedules, currently involved from system integration and automation systems in place. Sarah deserves improvement within these systems to ensure accurate crew scheduling, timely pay cycles, and operational efficiency, which will inevitably enhance her performance, experience, and overall customer service that she's delivering.
For our second stop, we'll be touching on recommendations. Catalyst Consulting is recommending the implementation of SwiftIS, an AI-driven data solution that improves connectivity and usability. Breaking down this recommendation into 2 distinct categories, we have the short term, which focuses on data integration, accessibility, and quality through AI-powered middleware solutions. Moving into long-term growth, we look at implementing a separate data warehouse strategy that improves the interactive analytics and insights for more informed decision-making.
So I'll focus now on our top 3 benefits. So the first benefit you can see on the screen is the first panel. So that's improved crew schedule and payment system, which this directly impacts Sarah. Our second benefit is strengthened aircraft safety and reliability. And our third benefit is enhanced asset tracking and valuation. So how this is communicated is through an interactive dashboard, which it quickly condenses complex data sets. So Sarah's manager can go on and she or he can understand exactly what's going on.
Our recommendations from the case study of Continental Airlines, which had implemented their business intelligence system, and it had allowed to transform its place from worst to best in the industry. Our next stop is implementation and KPIs. We suggest that PCA utilizes a phased approach for the implementation process. Whilst all the KPIs and milestones are important, for the short-term recommendation, the system connectivity rate of 95% is the key, and real-time data synchronization ability is also essential, simply because this was the key differentiator that helped Continental Airlines transform its position. In terms of our long-term implementation, we also suggest that PCA utilizes a phased approach for this recommendation. And the key performance indicators would include data accuracy, data completency, and the satisfaction. However, whilst all the KPIs are important, it is essential that we have accurate data so that we can generate insightful reports.
Now, while we understand how that is the technological side of integration, we now focus more onto how this impacts employees and their acceptance. So we have gone through a change management system, which is a 6-step progress, so that someone like Sarah's manager can feel more confident when this is implemented.
In terms of our financials and budget, we suggest an investment of 5.3 million Canadian dollars, which would be returned, like our capital would be returned within 2 years, as you can see on the screen, and it's expected that our revenues are increased by 5% year over year.
Now, in summary, our Swift IS system will create a unified and responsive adaptation to improve operational efficiency and seamless data flow to benefit you, your customers, and people just like Sarah. Thank you very much for your time.
Presentation shortly. All right. Well, good morning, almost afternoon, competitors, coaches, judges, and honored guests. Welcome to CaseIT 2024 Case 2 Wildcard presentations for time slot 2. My name is Aaliyah, and I will be your timer today. As a reminder, the CaseIT Organizing Committee will be recording the presentations for the purpose of the competition and team assessments. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the judging panel. To start off, we have Gary Thondi, the Senior Manager of Commercial Transformation at TELUS International. We have Aaron Walker, the Product Owner and of Airline Operations at WestJet. And Andreas Fick, the Director of ERP at Cardia. Then Jerry Ackerman, the Digital Transformation Lead at Legal Aid BC. Finally, Jin Yu, the Assistant Team Lead at Cynic Software. It is also my pleasure to introduce you to the judging facilitator, Nilesh Saraf. Now, we are excited for your presentation, but before we begin, we would like to remind competitors of the presentation guidelines. You will have 5 minutes of protected time to present your solution. At the conclusion of your presentation, there will be no Q&A. Competitors and judges will not be permitted to continue speaking. I will be using this device to time the presentations. I will also provide warnings at the 3-minute, 1-minute, and 30-second mark. CaseIT's time will be final time. Regardless, you are still responsible for keeping track of your time. Please note that competitors are not permitted to reveal any affiliation with their university, country, or city of origin during or after the presentation. Thank you and all the best. Competitors, you may begin your presentation whenever you are ready.
The next 3 are harder because of predictive insights. PCS currently at level 3. Here's a graph about predictive maintenance, and it has the overall equipment efficiency the best, so it's more than 90%. Also with digital twin, you can achieve 14% cost reduction. Here you can see our strategies that we analyzed, and the 3 main ones that we chose were digital twins for maintenance, interlinked data infrastructure, and intelligent drone inspection. So here you can see the sky. Having done our analysis, we laid down our foundation. Let Felix continue.
Thank you. So our strategy. This is the depiction of digital twin, the same technology as we use in the first pillar, Icarus. The second one is the gateway, and the last one is Wing Wanderer. So let's kick off with Icarus. So a digital twin receives data from various sources and then creates a digital version of the real-life operations and equipment. So it can replicate counter simulations and predict the probable outcomes. It will be channeled into the maintenance management system, which can be further integrated into the whole IS infrastructure. First, the dilemma is making or buying it. Buying is the best solution for PCA because it has the PCA has lack of know-how, and it's also cost effective. So this is the current situation, and then integrating the digital twin into MMS, and then MMS into the further IS system. Please, Gary, continue.
Okay, so the database is where we channel data from individual systems into one data warehouse. This is important on the long run because creating an ecosystem, data ecosystem, is a crucial part of business intelligence. So for this data streaming, we would use software by Confluent on the long run. Okay, So this is the data flow from individual systems. The data is collected and transformed to the same format and put to a data storage, data warehouse, from where business intelligence can use data cubes for what-if analysis and predictive analytics. For example, it can see correlation between pricing, sales, and weather. This is just a quick mock-up of our dashboard. András, please continue.
Thank you. Let's continue with the third pillar, the drones to maintenance. Using manually inspecting aircrafts can be very time-consuming and it can be potentially dangerous. So using drones, in the case of, for example, Delta Airlines, they reduce the inspection time by 90%. We looked at potential drones to purchase, which this would be the AU-2 Pro, which can sense heat and structure problems as well. We looked into potential partnerships with CaseIT. The way it works is it will scan the airplane and send the data into inventory management and the MMS. This is how we will implement. We will have a phased implementation to better align our goals with our strategy. Now we have the next part of our airplane. Impact. The initial project cost would be 2.3 million. In dark blue, we can see the cost cutting that we can achieve. Hold please, thank you. Next slide. We can achieve a 10% cost saving from our BI initiatives and also a 50% reduction in maintenance costs. Yeah, we mitigated the potential risks. And having implemented our 3-pillar strategy, we built an airplane which is ready for takeoff. Until now, we had 29 airplanes. This is the 30th. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you so much for presenting. The next presentation will take place at 12:10. at the 3-minute, 1-minute, 30-second mark. Now, CaseIT's time will be the final time. Regardless, you are still responsible for keeping track of your time. Please note that competitors are not permitted to reveal any affiliation with their university, country, or city of origin during or after the presentation. Now, give me a moment while I set up the timer. All right, thank you and all the best. Competitors, you may begin your presentation whenever you are ready.
Airport hubs have changed the way we travel. These centralized locations enhance and connect pilots, planes, passengers, and every part of the ecosystem. Just imagine how costly and inefficient it would be if we didn't have these inventions. Good afternoon, my name is Caitlin. I'm joined by my teammates Aiden, Dever, and Nikki, and we are thrilled to present to you today our recommendations for Pacific Coastal Airlines.
When arriving at our recommendation today, we first took a look at the overall Canadian airline industry, as well as where PCA sits within it, and found that their mission statement is a future where communities are connected and enriched, supported and embraced. But what we found is that with their internal IS systems, they're not supported or connected. In fact, there's a lack of integration between core functions, there's the inability to pull meaningful insights from the data, and there's no set direction for where to go from here.
This leads us to our key question. How should Pacific Coastal Airlines drive this centralization of their information system in order to adapt to the dynamic and changing needs of the airline and the industry? We've asked 3 key questions in order to arrive on this, and we'll now begin by walking you through our analysis.
We are so excited to recommend PCA Project Cascade, implementing middleware to connect current gaps within the IS system, creating a centralized data system, and leveraging AI for data analytics. We recommend this for 3 main reasons. First, it enhances operational efficiency. Second, it'll streamline informed decision-making. And third, it'll optimize organizational effectiveness. And we believe that Project PCA Cascade has the opportunity to make a big impact, both in terms of growth and in terms of technological advancement. With growth, we see a 15.85% ROIC and $2.5 million in cost saving annually. And with technological innovation, we see the opportunity for PCA to harvest big data and AI to enhance the stakeholder experience.
Now let's dive a little bit deeper into what Project Cascade looks like. Here you can see a view of PCA's current information systems architecture. As you can see, there's a lot of data, but it's not being centralized and it's not getting where it needs to go, so it can't be used to derive meaningful analytical insights. Now let's take a look at what the architecture will look like after Project Cascade. As you can see, all the data is now being centralized in one system, TIBCO, where it's standardized and can get where it needs to go. Additionally, because all of the data is centralized, it can be used to derive analytical insights that we weren't able to see before. Now we're going to dive a little bit deeper into why we think that Project Cascade is the right choice for PCA.
Thanks, Dever. As Nikki mentioned, Project Cascade has 3 primary benefits. It enhances operational efficiency, streamlines the decision-making process, and optimizes organizational effectiveness. By integrating systems and data from what are currently isolated business units, data becomes more accessible and relevant. That data can then be used to inform analysis at the intersection of the different business units, unlocking new capabilities for analytics and decision-making. Insights from those analytics can then be personalized, visualized, and communicated to key stakeholders. Let's now see how this can be done.
So to actually implement Project Cascade, we think it's really important that there's a set change implementation strategy. So we've selected psychologist Kurt Lewin's 3-phase implementation strategy of unfreezing, changing, and refreezing. And really what this looks like at a glance, unfreezing means getting employees to buy in. It means understanding that the current system is inefficient and creating a guiding coalition of people that will actually lead the change. The change phase is where the actual technological change will occur with the integration of TIBCO from ops to maintenance, ops to finance, and overall integration as Dever was talking about earlier. And lastly, with refreezing, this just means making those new behaviors permanent. We cannot stress enough the importance of having a structured change management system because we see 70% of organizational change efforts fail because they lack the proper change management solution. But by leveraging this 3-phase solution, as well as tracking it through these designated KPIs, we believe Project Cascade will be best implemented for success.
Here you can see the 3-year implementation timeline for Project Cascade, including in year 1, building stakeholder buy-in, year 2, actually making those changes, and then year 3, using training to make sure it really sticks.
In terms of financials, this has a great impact. We can see there's a few costs, including initially hiring 5 individuals to run Project Cascade, but that not only is there a 2.3-year payback period, there's a positive return on investment through operational efficiency savings.
There are some risks surrounding surrounding trust, finances, regulations, and privacy, but these can all be mitigated with effective strategies.
Let's bring it back to what this future holds for Project Cascade, especially this operational efficiency. There is an ability to observe, once the data is consolidated, where redundancies are. Then you can take a look at the organizational architecture, determine if there is any redundancy in some of these legacy systems, and catalyze change. But let's go back to the people. Think about how much airport hubs have impacted how we travel. And then think how Project Cascade can do the same by centralizing, providing insightful data, and allowing the ability to analyze.
Thank you for your presentation. Your presentation time is now complete. We will begin the next presentation at 12:20. Thank you. Digital Transformation at TELUS International, Aaron Walker, the Product Owner of Airline Operations at WestJet, Andreas Fick, the Director of ERP at Cardium, Gary Ackerman, the Digital Transformation Lead at Legal Aid BC, Jin Yu, the Assistant Team Lead at Cynic Software. It is also my pleasure to introduce you to our judging facilitator, Nilesh Saraf. Now, we are excited for your presentation, but before we begin, we would like to remind you of some presentation guidelines. You will have 5 minutes of protected time to present your solution. At the conclusion of your presentation, there will be no Q&A. Competitors and judges will not be permitted to continue speaking. I will be using this device to time the presentations. I will also provide warnings at the 3-minute, 1-minute, and 30-second mark. CaseIT's time will be final time. Regardless, you are still responsible for keeping track of your time. Please note that competitors are not permitted to reveal any affiliation with their university, country, or city of origin during or after the presentation. Thank you and all the best. Competitors, you may begin your presentation whenever you are ready.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Olivia, and I am the innovation strategist behind Apex Consulting and Altitude Ops, a suite solution for comprehensive aircraft management systems. By integrating Avery ERP and Win Air Aviation, you can streamline your existing processes for a more comprehensive and user-friendly feel. You currently have the existing bottlenecks in your system in these 3 areas, and this happens when you transfer data between these systems. By taking your 9 current business model solutions and instead using Avery ERP and Win Air Aviation, you can streamline and integrate all of your processes for a much better feel. Avery ERP can take over 8 out of 9 of your existing business processes, and the other one will be taken over by Win Air Aviation. That is for your current maintenance management system, which is perfectly integratable with Avery ERP.
Both systems currently utilize data security, including defense in depth, along with safeguards. In regards to change management, we believe that with a user-friendly interface, the data mitigation tools provided by the system, along with a 3-phase implementation plan, along with a $5,000 incentive, this will lead to seamless integration for Pacific Coastal Airlines.
Now let's discuss our 3-phase implementation timeline. First off, I want to start with the operations and maintenance phase. This is our largest operational bottleneck currently. There is no integration between these 2 systems. A synchronized maintenance and flight schedule would lead to a 20% overall decrease in maintenance cost. Secondly, I want to discuss our HR, safety, and crew planning systems. This would be our 2nd phase and take place in early 2025. There's current employee frustration in those systems, and there's a significant employee data entry time. Overall, the impact of this would lead to easy-to-use, highly functional software and a decrease in that overall data entry time. Third, and certainly not least, is finance. There are limited partnership opportunities due to our lack of integration in software. Integrating all of these softwares through Airy ERP would allow for higher partnership compatibility, especially through WestJet. Overall, this leads to a fully integrated cross-system dashboard. These 3 phases will cost a total of $5 million and take 2 years to complete. This is 100% internally financed and will lead to a 36% return on investment. Employees will be incentivized by $2,500 at the start of phase 1 and the conclusion of phase 3. This, of course, comes with some key assumptions. There will be 3 contractors hired at a $300,000 per year salary during the 3-phase implementation process. We have $11.1 million in net working capital on hand, and we assume a 7% overall firm growth with an industry average $1,200 yearly employee software cost.
We understand that this is a dynamic ask and a lot of criteria to take into account. With that, we have prioritized these on the left hand of the screen. I'd like to draw your attention to the first 3, that being data security, cost effectiveness, and the availability of dashboards. Obviously, with our solution, we decided on agreeing between Airy Solutions and WinTech Aviation because ultimately they are the most integratable with your current technologies and they are very easy to use with your current partners. So now, to take a high-level look to a new perspective to make sure that everything is perfectly clear. Introducing Airy ERP and Win Air Aviation will dramatically increase your operational efficiency. By consolidating those fragmented systems into 2 integrated platforms. This will allow you to enhance your ability to transfer data between departments, decrease the amount of time that your employees are spending inputting data, and it will increase the accuracy of your decisions and therefore your business model as a whole. We are confident that this will result in a 36% ROI at the end of 3 years, or 5 years. This will be profitable within 3 years and pay for itself within 4. This comes at the relatively small cost of $12.3 million Canadian. And with that, thank you.
All right, thank you for your presentation. All of the wildcard presentations are now complete. We will now be heading into the judges' divisional deliberation period, led by Nilesh. Now, the deliberation room will be room 430, which you will be guided by the logistics team, and it will go till about 12:45. Please be back 5 minutes before the start of the finalist presentations at 1:30.